is a treaty that will reflect upon and impact upon all of the peoples of Europe. 500 million people almost make up the population of the European Union now. All of those people are denied a right to vote based upon the political machinations of people who decide not to call it a constitution, decide not to put it back to the French and Dutch peoples who have already roundly rejected the exact same proposals. It is the same document. 2005, it was put to the French people, it was put to the Dutch people, and they rejected it out of hand on the basis of the impact it would have on social services and so on. They rejected it out of hand. They went back to the drawing board and said, what do we need to do? We'll remove the word constitution, we'll do this, and as we'll see, the only people we need to put it to are the paddies, so we can ram that down their throat. It is the same constitution again, don't believe me. Dermot Ahern, 26 county minister, ex-minister for foreign affairs. The substance of what was agreed in 2004 has been retained. What has gone is the term constitution. Again, they're very confident of victory. They were until very recently of victory in the 26 counties. Again, given their contempt for democracy, such as it exists when it is exercised by people who have the gall to tell them no. Nice 2 is a prime example of that. The Nice referendum was rejected and it was sent back. Have some more of it. Vote until you vote the way we would like you to vote. Very important that that approach still exists. 11th of March, Tuesday the 11th of March just gone, Bertie Ahern, outgoing Taoiseach, was challenged as to whether or not there would be a rerun of Nice 2, i.e. whether it would be put back to people to vote in the right way, and he refused to rule it out. In the European Parliament, this great example of democracy at work. Wednesday, 20th of February, there was a motion put to the European Parliament, and the wording of that motion was that the European Parliament undertakes to respect the outcome of the referendum in Ireland. That was defeated by 499 votes to 129. There's your great democratic system at work in Europe. Yeah. Paddies can have their vote. We don't vote the way we like it. Are we going to respect it? Well, there's a landslide against that motion. Very important incidentally to note that Prunchies de Rossa, great socialist and democrat of long standing, also voted against that motion. We said neither Labour nor Ireland but Europe might be an appropriate masthead to go over Labour Party headquarters. Potentially. Certainly a long way away from James Connolly. So, what effect you have, again, some people will actually get into the nuts and bolts of the treaty, but certainly what you have here is an attempt to create a super state over the heads of people. Jose Manuel Barroso, the president of the EU Commission, like in the European Union, to the development of an empire. And again, this man has said that publicly, unashamedly. He hasn't said, well, hold on a minute, what it meant was not an empire as such. It's not an empire. That's what it is, a super state. What does this super state consist of? What will it consist of? Well, post-ratification by national parliaments, we will all become, for the first time, citizens of Europe. We will have dual citizenship legally, which is a good or bad thing. Again, and our party certainly isn't anti-European. What else will it have? It will have an unelected president. It will have a minister for foreign affairs. It will have a diplomatic corps. It will have embassies. It will have a Supreme Court that will override the national Supreme Courts, and has already done that. Hopefully some people will bring up the Laval case, which is very, very, very critical to the whole direction of Europe, workers' rights in particular, and how the European Court rules when it comes down to the rights of workers versus the interests of capital. Manuel Barroso again. Referendums make the process of approval of European treaties much more complicated and less predictable. If a referendum had to be held on the creation of the European Community or the introduction of the Euro, do you think these would have passed? You can see this idea in this super state, United States of Europe, and this might sound like science fiction to people, but there's no doubt about it, that's the direction that we are moving in. And post-Lisbon, we are as near to it as you can possibly hold it. But it's very important to understand that. So much for democracy, so much for the idea that the inhabitants of a political system have the right to vote. Again, we in the 26 counties are lucky, but it's important to explain why we're lucky. A man called Raymond Crotty 20 years ago had to go all the way to the Supreme Court, the highest court in the 26 counties to fight for the right to have a voice on any changes that affected them. Tony Blair, Gordon Brown got over very immediately. Yeah, their general election commitment was to a referendum. Unfortunately, again, this part of the world remains occupied, remains part of the United Kingdom, so-called. More craftsmanship, it's no longer a constitution, no need for a referendum. There you go, like that, 1.8 million people, never mind the 55 million people who live across the water are denied outright. So much for this idea of democracy. Again, this is the primary reason that Éirígí is against wholeheartedly the Lisbon Treaty. Okay, I have to pass on. I will come back to some points later. I get a chance. Come on.